I keep hearing this idea lately. AI is becoming something only the rich will control. And honestly, when you look at what's happening, these gigantic data centers, the endless subscriptions, the soaring energy costs, that conclusion feels pretty reasonable. It seems like a handful of huge companies are building a fortress around intelligence, and we'll all just have to pay to get inside. But I want to ask a slightly different question today. Is this the permanent future of AI, or is it just a temporary phase we're going through? Let's break down why AI looks so elitist right now. The most powerful AI models we have today are centralized. They live in enormous server farms, owned by a very small number of companies. Building and running these systems requires massive capital investments. To get access, you usually need a subscription. To develop new models, you need a mountain of money. The infrastructure itself requires a scale that's out of reach for almost everyone. So yes, from our current vantage point, intelligence looks gated. It looks like a luxury good. But here's the thing, this isn't new. In fact, nearly every major technology that has changed our world started out exactly this way. Think about the history of technology. Computers weren't always in our pockets. They began as room-sized machines in elite research labs, costing millions. The internet didn't start with cat videos and social media. It was a closed network for governments and universities. GPS, the system that guides us everywhere now, was exclusively for military use. Even something as common as a camera used to require a professional studio, expensive equipment, and specialized knowledge. In every single one of these cases, early access was expensive, it was centralized, and it was exclusive to a select few. And then something critical happened. The technology went local. Once the core function could run on personal devices, once it was decentralized, the entire dynamic shifted. The cost plummeted, access exploded, and the pace of innovation went into overdrive. AI is following this exact same pattern. It's just doing it a whole lot faster. So let's zoom out and look at the historical arc, the journey from a centralized, expensive technology to a decentralized, accessible tool is a well-trodden path. The first computers were mainframes owned by corporations. Then came the personal computer, the PC, which brought computing into our homes. The internet started as ARPANET, a government project. Then it became the World Wide Web, accessible to anyone with a modem. Photography went from studio-bound to the Kodak Brownie camera, which promised, you press the button, we do the rest. Over and over, the pattern is the same. Centralization gives way to distribution. The gatekeepers who control the initial infrastructure eventually lose their grip as the technology becomes small enough, cheap enough, and efficient enough to run locally. AI is right in the middle of this classic transition. It's still in its mainframe era, but the personal computer era for AI is just around the corner. The real turning point isn't just about making AI a little bit better or a little bit faster. The most important shift is making AI that no longer depends on the cloud. We're talking about AI that can run locally, offline, on the hardware you already own, your phone, your laptop. Once that happens, several things change almost immediately. First, no more subscriptions to access core intelligence. If the software runs on your device, you don't need to pay a monthly fee to a company whose servers are thousands of miles away. Second, no more server gatekeepers. A corporation can't decide to cut off your access or change the rules if the model is yours. Third, and this is a big one, no more constant data extraction. An offline model is not sending your private conversations or personal data back to a central server for analysis. Your information stays with you. And finally, the massive advantage that comes with scale starts to disappear. When intelligence becomes software that can run anywhere, the game is no longer about who has the most capital to build the biggest data center. It's about who can write the most efficient and creative code. At that point, intelligence stops being a capital-intensive resource and becomes what it truly is, software. And you don't need to be rich to copy software. You just need access. Now you might be thinking, okay, but won't that take forever? This is where AI is different. AI has a unique property that earlier technologies didn't. Software is getting better at improving software. AI models are being used to design more efficient AI models. Specialized hardware like NPUs or neural processing units is being designed specifically to run these models faster and with less power. This creates a powerful feedback loop where progress compresses on itself. The journey from a massive, energy-hungry model to a lean, efficient one that can run on your phone is happening at an exponential rate. So once we reach the point where today's top-tier AI capabilities can run locally, the progress won't slow down. It will accelerate. And this brings us to a crucial point. In the long run, efficiency beats brute force. Creative new architectures will outperform models that just throw more data and more servers at the problem. Creativity will beat capital. And ultimately, accessibility will always beat exclusivity. So here's the paradox of AI we're living through. AI looks elitist today precisely because it is still in its centralized mainframe phase. It's expensive and controlled by a few because that's the only way to build it at this early stage. But the very forces that are driving its incredible power, the self-improvement, the hardware optimization, the software breakthroughs, are the same forces pushing it relentlessly toward distribution. It's like a star that gets hotter and hotter until it explodes, scattering its elements across the universe. AI might temporarily amplify inequality, just as the first computers and the early internet did. But in the long run, it is far more likely to democratize intelligence than it is to monopolize it. The future of AI isn't something to be owned by the highest bidder. It's something to be shared. The real question we should be asking isn't whether AI will belong to the rich. It's how we ensure we shape this powerful, decentralized future responsibly for everyone. Progress begins with how we choose to look at the future.